Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today now I'm going to talk about the second week in February. So we're going to be talking about February 8th through the 14th. We're going to go day by day while I sit here in front of my computer looking at the moon sign and everything you need to know about these changes. Every day, nakshatras and everything, I'm all here to give you the word of what you can expect. But before I do, I got to tell you about my class. It starts on the 7th. Now, if you missed it, still not too late, because the whole time the first semester is going, it's a time that you can catch up. And I record all the live classes so you can catch up. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com if you want to become my student. It's not too late. So let's get going and let's talk about February 8th. What can we expect on the 8th? And we're looking at the moon on the 8th. It is in the sign of Capricorn. Now, it entered into the sign of Capricorn close to midnight, so the entire day, right after midnight, we have the moon in Capricorn. And Capricorn is all about business. It's about work. It's about being responsible, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So the moon is coming together today. It's crossed over Mars and it's crossed over Pluto early on, probably, if your Central Standard Time is what I'm talking about. And then it's going to be coming very close to Mercury. When Mercury and the moon come together, people are fickle. I always say that Mercury moon people, they overthink things. The mind is on overdrive. You're going to find that that's going to be the case. So be aware that this is a time of overthinking and not being as rational as we should be. But this is like the 8th. I forgot to tell you, this is coming upon the new moon. Now, the new moon is going to be on the 9th, but the 8th, we have the moon where it's still not conjunct the sun. So it stands behind the sun, which is actually a Baslamic moon in Western astrology. It means a dark moon. It's the day before the full moon. And that makes people very introspective. It's a time to kind of lay low, be introspective, and be aware that it's not the day to start new things, because you want to wait till the full moon, to the new moon, because that's new beginnings. But this is a time to finish up projects, to be more internal and introspective, because it's a time a lot of insights will come to you, especially through your dreams. Pay attention to that. This is important. So, looking also at this, Jupiter is in the 4th house from the moon. So the 4th house deals with real estate and property. And it's a good day, I'm not going to say to buy property, but to start looking and making plans. Once we hit the new moon, then you can move forward. But it's a great time to start thinking about where you'd like to live, or even rearranging your furniture in your house. You know, create a different energy in your house, feng shui, vastu. Changing the energy around in your house, changing your furniture can change certain energetics about you and your home. So this is a good day to look into that. Now, another thing is close to 2:30 p.m., the moon will enter into the nakshatra called Shravana. So it's going to be for half the day in Uttara Ashada, which is still one of the truth-finding nakshatras, deals with finding truth, being true to ourselves most of all, and honest. Now, when the moon goes into Shravana, 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, it's time to listen. Shravana is the nakshatra that symbol is an ear and represents it's time to listen. How much do people really learn when they're doing all the talking? So step back and truly listen to people. Don't be planning what you're going to say next. Hear what they have to say. Hear them out. You're going to find that people will be more, they'll listen to you more if you listen to them. So they'll be more responsive to what you're trying to say if you've heard them out. This is what this day is really good for. Now, we do have all these planets together in Capricorn, so there is a serious tone. It is time to sit back and just listen. Let's move to the next day. The 9th, February 9th, is the new moon. And what does that mean? Well, it means new beginnings, new starts. One thing I find that's really interesting about this new moon is that, well, we have all these aspects where Saturn goes to the second house from the moon. It's not a great day for anything dealing with finances or money. Hold back a day. Make plans, but don't spend. Jupiter is in the 4th house from the moon. It's a great day for moving, though. You know, not necessarily purchasing, but moving your things to a new place, or planning to buy new property. Start looking today. New moon means new developments. By the time of the full moon, things will develop in this area, dealing with real estate. But it is a good day for real estate, possibly selling, but be careful around buying, okay? So Venus is in the 12th house from the moon. Pay attention to your dreams. They can be profound, deep. You might even have some dreams about an old relationship that maybe you haven't thought about in years. So, but there is a seriousness around government affairs with this new moon in the sign of Capricorn. Now, the moon will transit into the sign of Aquarius very late in the day, almost at the very end of the day at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this means a lot of things are going to start moving towards fixing things and making them better. One more thing, this new moon is in the nakshatra called Dhanishta. Dhanishta is a very strong nakshatra. It's about timing. So remember, this can indicate being at the right place at the right time. Pay attention, listen to your inner knowing, and move with it, because Dhanishta is all about timing. All right, so now let's move to February 10th. And February 10th, this is very important because the moon is going to be with Saturn. So there is a somber, serious tone that will prevail throughout this day. Now, the moon is going to be transiting all day in the sign of Aquarius, because remember, late last night it moved into Aquarius. So all day it's in Aquarius, which is the sign of humanity. People are more talking about how to heal the planet, how to make things better for everyone. And around the time of, let's see, 9 a.m., all right, so the moon is going to move into the nakshatra Shatabhishak. So most of the day it's going to be in the nakshatra of the 100 healers. So there will be more talk about healing, helping people, how we can change the world to make it a better place. And furthermore, it's the sky watcher. So people are concerned on what's going on in space, in the heavens. And of course, you know how I love to talk about aliens. So maybe there will be some talk about that. But most of all, I think there'll be attention brought around the area of healing and probably things around drug abuse and how we can heal serious mental diseases around addictions. That's what this day can be in essence about. So all day the moon is in Aquarius. Now let's move it forward to the 11th. So February 11th, the moon is going to be in Aquarius most of the day, and it will be moving away from Saturn, so things will get a little bit more lighthearted, not as much as serious of a tone as it was the day before. But it will enter into the nakshatra around 6:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, Purva Bhadrapada. And this nakshatra is actually the visionary looking towards the future. All sorts of interesting ideas about the future, not looking so much at the past, or either remedying the past in order to make a better future, because that's really what the sign Aquarius is about, healing for the future, what is good for humanity. But this nakshatra is also said to be a man with two faces. Of course, this is the visionary looking forward and looking back. But with two faces, don't forget, this can also insinuate someone that's two-faced. Be careful of what people are telling you today. Listen to your inner knowing, because if you have a nudge that something's not right with what people are telling you, chances are you're correct. There will be two-faced people that come alive in your life today. Be cautious and aware. So another thing is that the moon being in Aquarius, well, Rahu is in the second house from the moon. So this is actually not a bad day for spending and or particularly bringing in money, making money, investments and such. Jupiter is in the third house from the moon, meaning it's a great day for writing, communications, getting your message across to people. But there are a lot of planets 12th from the moon, so still be aware there can be some contention, especially around the workplace. People may not be on the up and up. Be aware, like I said before, of two-faced people and possibly people that could stab you in the back. This takes place mainly around the work. Yes, so let's move now to the next day. But right before that, let me just say the moon will, this evening, February 11th, around 10:15 p.m. Central Standard Time, the moon will move into Pisces. So therefore, on February 12th, the whole day the moon will be in Pisces. So let me see. And actually, the moon will be in Pisces for the next 2.5 days. The moon stays in a sign for 2.5 days. So Venus, one last thing about February 11th, Venus will be moving into the sign of Capricorn, where it will remain for a month. All these planets bunched up in Capricorn means a lot of work needs to be done, particularly in finding peace and resolve in government affairs. So February 12th, the moon is in Pisces all day, and it will go into the nakshatra Uttara Bhadrapada, which is said to be the serpent of the deep, which actually relates to profound thoughts, people that start thinking philosophically, psychologically deeper. But the moon does cross over Neptune very early on, and Neptune actually deals with fantasy, ideas of escape. So it's a great day for being creative, fantasizing, going to the movies. Neptune rules movies. It's a time we can really escape the world into our fantasies, into our mind. Relax. But don't use this day to make any major decisions because Neptune isn't clear. So use this day to be creative and let your imagination soar. It will be a great day, but don't have unrealistic expectations as the moon will be crossing over Neptune. And then later on, it's going to be approaching Rahu. So let's go to February 13th. And February 13th, we have the moon will be, for the most part today, in the nakshatra Revati. So on the 13th, we have the moon will be, of course, in Pisces most all of the day, and it will change into the nakshatra Revati around 1 a.m. Central Standard Time. So this is wonderful because when you wake up, if you're Central Standard Time, the moon will already be in Revati. This is one of the most positive nakshatras. It is the last and final nakshatra. Pisces is the last and final sign. So it deals with bringing things to closure and endings and on a positive note. But the moon will be approaching Rahu, and this will make things a little bit unpredictable, extreme. And the moon, since it rules our emotional feelings, this is a time emotions are seriously out of control, because what's actually happening is the moon and Rahu, they're close to the end of the sign, a water sign dealing with emotions. So don't be argumentative today. Try to find peace and relax. And Revati is actually a nakshatra of travel, safe travels. So this would be a good time to get away, escape the world, go on a nice trip. Now, around 11:30 p.m., so this is the end of the day, Central Standard Time, we will get, the moon will move into Aries. So it will leave Pisces an hour before, 30 minutes, let's just say, before midnight. So when you wake up the next day, if you're Central Standard Time, the moon will be in Aries. So, but one more thing about the 13th. The sun is going to move into Aquarius from Capricorn. Now, you know I'm talking about the sidereal system. So the sun leaves Capricorn. And this will be a relief because the sun being in Capricorn is so much about government affairs. It's a difficult time. But it's about really, the sun being in Capricorn, it's about finding resolution to a lot of things that the government's been mishandling. So that's a good thing. So let's continue on. One more thing about the 13th. I know there's one last thing. Mars will be conjunct Pluto, and that's intense energy. So the 13th and around this time, expect some blow-ups, possibly concerning government affairs, because it's happening in Capricorn, Pluto, Mars. That's extreme. All right, so now we're going to go to the 14th, which the energy changes to much, much easier. It is Valentine's Day. And for those of you that get my Patreon, I wrote a beautiful article just for my Patreon members concerning Valentine's Day, love and relationships. And luckily for today, the moon will be in Aries and it will be conjuncting Jupiter. This does deal with love and romance and harmony and happiness. This is a great day. And the moon is in Aries, which represents new beginnings, new starts. Things are moving forward. It's a time to express ourselves emotionally. It's a beautiful time for love, romance, and exactly what Valentine's Day was set up to celebrate. Love, our feelings, romance, our appreciation for our partners, right? That's a beautiful thing. Whether or not it's a day that commercialism is at a peak, don't worry about it. Use it for what it's good for. Don't focus on the negative. It is a day to express our love. I love that. That's a beautiful day. And the nakshatra Ashwini, where the moon is going to be most of the day, is about travel. So get away, travel, go someplace nice, or just go to a really nice place to celebrate. So the moon will be in Ashwini on this day till 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Then the moon will transit into the nakshatra Bharani, which is a little bit more intense, but that's where Jupiter is. And so therefore, we're looking at the moon being conjunct Jupiter, which is optimism, happiness, joy, expansion, opportunities. I love this day for opportunities. And as I look to where the moon is, the Venus, Pluto, Mars, Mercury, all those planets go to the 10th house, which means this is also a great day, not only for love and romance, but for asking for that raise, or maybe you get promoted in your workplace. This is a great day for business and work and expansion through your job. If you're looking for a job, hey, this is a day it could happen. Get out and get busy. This is a exceptional day, probably one of my second favorite days of the whole month. So with that, this concludes the second week of February. So get ready to learn about the third week of February. And before I go, remember, join my Patreon page. There you're going to get better connected with me every week. We will have one-on-one conversations, and you will get so many discounts and live classes with me twice a week. So with that, I'll close. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you for the third week of February.